So as I say, Anne, thanks for joining us. So can you just sort of give us an outline of what PE is like in secondary schools at the minute? What are some of the things you can do? What are some of the things you can't? What are some of the considerations for you as in your role as PE staff?
Yeah, so basically it hasn't changed too much really, other than sort of sanitising the sort of hands and all the equipment every lesson, making sure sort of certain bubbles, sort of like, for example, if we were doing football, that batch of balls would be sanitised and put away, and a new batch, if it was a different bubble, would come in. If it was the same bubble, so a year 7 group would then have another year 7 group, that equipment's okay. We'd clean it, but it wouldn't have to be then put away for that year group not to use. In terms of sports, we had originally sort of changed all the sports we were going to do at the beginning of the year, and then I think it was about sort of the beginning of September, the guidance changed to say you could follow the national governing body's guidelines. So we spoke with the high school we feed into, because we're in middle school, so we got years 5 to year 8. So we spoke with the high school, we spoke with the other middle school who's part of the town, and they were going to do that. So the guidance that we follow by our lessons are for example, football, we follow what the FA have put, and then for basketball, we're constantly looking at the national governing body's guidelines if they change. But at the moment, we're just going from what they recommend, really.
Fantastic. And are you finding sort of other schools are adopting the same approach? Have you been able to do any extra curricular clubs or sort of fixtures with other schools as well, or are they sort of held back at the moment?
Yeah, so all sort of external fixtures have been cancelled in terms of sort of inter-school sports. We're running school clubs, but as a bubble. So where we potentially would do year 7 and 8 football, it's just 1 year group. So it's kind of reduced the amount of clubs we can put on. We're a small sort of PE team. We've got lots of other staff who are great and volunteer. But at the moment, it is just year 7 football or year 8 football, so they can't cross over.
Yeah. Great. And what have been your plans, what are your plans for rugby going forwards? And have you had a chance to deliver anything so far this term?
We don't usually deliver it in the first half term. We usually wait until the club. So the last 2 years has been brilliant. So Conklin has been absolutely brilliant. So Danny used to be there. Dan Robinson was absolutely amazing. And he kind of worked on the basis that the first half term, where the weather was okay, he'd work with the younger ones. So you might get in the first schools, or you'll work with our younger ones. And then after October half term, we'd work with our 7s and 8s. We'd start our club then, and we'd probably run that up to around about Easter, and we'd do sort of a term and a half worth of rugby. So I'm planning to do sort of a bit of touch rugby when we come back after Christmas, after the half term, and then see how that goes. And then hopefully after Christmas, maybe get a little bit more sort of looking what the guidelines are at that point.
And you mentioned your links with the clubs, and sort of thinking of it from someone that delivers PE sort of regularly. What's sort of the biggest support that you and your sort of PE colleagues around the country, if you can speak for them, want from rugby clubs at the minute? What's the most important thing that they can provide to help you with your rugby delivery and keeping rugby on the curriculum and keeping the kids infused to the game?
It's just I think just the guidelines of what we can and can't do, really. Right. That'd be good, because like I say, we are just trying to follow the national governing body's guidelines. So if things change, you're not always looking, things change in 24 hours, don't they? So it'd be great for a little bit of information be sent out from clubs saying, this has changed overnight. Just to let you know, these are the new sort of regulations, what the club's playing by, because that's what we would try to follow. Just so that sort of continuity as well, what the kids who play outside of school are playing by. So when they're coming in, they're not, we can't do this at the club. Yeah. It's just so we've got, that continuity through it all. And then just in general, it was the support what we had from Congleton Rugby Club, from Dan, was second to none, really. He took our rugby from when I got here. So I've been at this school, this is my 5th year, there was no rugby. My first year I sort of built it up because I love teaching it myself. Yeah. But the skills that the club brought in took it kind of to another level. And I know we had last year, our year 8 when they left, I think there was around about, I think there was 13 who went to play for the club. And the year before there was, I think there was about 5 or 6. And I know one of the year 11s at the moment is the under 16s club captain. So, you know, just seeing them progress and pick it up from school and take it on was just absolutely brilliant. So hopefully we can keep that, but I'm not sure what the club's going to offer this year. That's all.
Last question, I guess, from us on this one as well. We've had a lot of clubs that have been in contact with us saying the contact they've had in the school's gone, moved departments. They're desperately trying to get hold of someone from the PE team. What advice can you give those clubs to actually trying to make contact with someone in the PE department to offer their services and to help promote themselves?
Just contact reception. Give the information to reception. I know our receptionist would filter it through to, or I suppose you've got the I'm just trying to think of the abbreviation of it now. Is it the SDOs at the moment? School development. I was trying to think what ours is.
School games organisers.
School games organisers, isn't it now? Yeah. So I know Zoe, who's ours, would filter any information back to schools because she'd have all the emails for the actual, cluster of schools. So Staffordshire Mall, and she would have all the contact for PE staff there. And I know kind of her role at the beginning of the year, she's emailing out saying, is everybody still in the same role? If anyone's new, can you send me the new details through? So a club could go through that route to get an email for someone for a school.
Yeah, and they would just find that obviously
as well.
Right. Yeah, no, it's
teacher was missing out on something. Because someone wasn't replying to something and the kids were missing out on something, she would get in contact with that member of staff as well, saying, I've had the RFU of emails, we've got this provision, or the club's email, they've got this provision to help us with, can someone get back to them? So head teachers are a good one as well. I know in bigger schools it's a bit different, but I know at our school level our head would forward on that kind of information to us.